What's up, guys? It's Bolt, and I'm back with another Remnant 2 build guide. And yes, our boy is back. Our boy SPOREBLOOM is better than ever. You love to see it, and this is my SPOREBLOOM build guide. Let's get right into it, man. I'm just so excited to bring this to you, man. Hugs, yes, boring hugs, but yeah, we're going straight up range damage on this build, so we got Hunter slotted in first for the Dead to Rights Prime perk to keep our Hunter's focus up at all times. Now, this is a very important skill right here because we want to minimize our spread reduction. This is mainly why we're using it. But I need to preface this by saying if you have more than 30% spread reduction, we have 30% spread reduction on this build, but if you go beyond that, you will have zero reticle when in Hunter's focus. I know this is a bug or a glitch or something. I did report it. But at the spread reduction we are at right now, we're at 30% with the handling trait, and that's all we have. We have like a small dot. So it's still difficult to see, but not impossible. But if you go above that, you will have no reticle at all, so just keep that in mind. Then we have the Gunslinger slotted in second, and that's because we want the Bullet Storm. Now, this build is all about reload speed. SPOREBLOOM benefits and single shot weapons benefits exponentially from reload speed. So what you guys need to learn is how to manual reload. If you guys don't know what a manual reload is, that is once you shoot the gun, you hit the reload button yourself. Do not let the game reload the gun for you. That is much slower. If you time your reloads right with pressing it manually, then you will speed up the process of reloading so much so it increases the DPS like crazy. You guys need to learn that. And if you do this, if you got it on the money, you could shoot the damn SPOREBLOOM like a machine gun. And let me tell you something, guys. I have gotten this build up to 15k DPS sustained. Now, on average, that was probably lucky crits, but on average, I'm getting 13, 14k sustained DPS with the manual reloads. You guys really have to learn how to time those, and that is going to give you a huge boost in your damage. 0 hour for our necklace. Now, you guys are no stranger to this. It's one of the most popular new necklaces from DLC 3. We are in the light roll category for this build, so we are getting the full benefit from the crit chance and the all damage. Really nice amulet to have. And even though we are in the light roll category, we are at 45.7% damage reduction, so we're actually pretty damn good. We can survive around 2 hits from most enemies. Really nice to have. Braided Thorns. Now, Braided Thorns, you guys are no stranger to this either. It's just boring, flat, 10% crit chance. But we really want to crit on this build. SPOREBLOOM benefits the most. Like, shotguns really rely on crits for their damage and reload speed. So we went with the Braided Thorns. But this stock is on the rise for this ring because of the crit damage pylon buff in Boss Rush. You always have to grab that. I don't care what build you're running. Crit damage pylon buff is like the hugest damage buff you could get. So this acts like a pseudo kind of Akari Warband when paired with that. Amazing boost to our DPS. Infinity Pocket. Now this is a newcomer from DLC 3 as well. And with this build, we basically have infinite ammo because we are not shooting our corrupted wound pistol very frequently. It's like 99.9% of the time we are shooting SPOREBLOOM. So because of that, we will have infinity ammo. Amazing quality of life ring. And even though we are using a quality of life ring, we're not even spec fully into DPS. We're still getting that 13 to 15k DPS. It's freaking bananas how strong SPOREBLOOM is now. Outcast ring. Amazing ring for single shot weapons. Those reload speed is such a huge increase to your DPS. We're getting 25% with the Outcast ring. Again, manual reloads, guys. I'm going to drill that into your heads. Manual reloads. And if you are a boss rusher, you love playing boss rush, I recommend grabbing the reload speed buff from the pylon in boss rush. And once you do, you can get rid of Outcast ring and you can swap that for something like a Akari Warband or another or empowering loop. Or if you want more defense, you can put something like tightly wound coil or something, whatever you need for your build. You can get rid of Outcast ring as soon as you grab the reload speed buff from Boss Rush. But if you do not have that good RNG, keep Outcast ring on because that reload speed is going to be a huge boost to your DPS. And then last but not least, we have the probability cord. Really boring stuff. One of the best rings in the game for damage, 20% crit damage. That's it. Don't really need to say anything more about that one. Now, for our secondary, we are using the corrupted wound pistol. This is the new Nebula, guys. Nebula got a huge nerf. Not really worth using in my opinion. But even before the nerf, I was kind of leaning towards using this more often as well. So we're basically going to get a 20% damage boost with this setup that we have right here. Deathbrand is going to give us 10% all damage. And on top of that, we have the Fetid Wounds Mutator on there, which is going to provide the corroded debuff. That's another 10%. So that is 20% freaking extra damage. We'd love to see that. But on top of that, Corrupted Rune Pistol is actually just a solid all-around weapon. You know, if you're getting swarmed with a bunch of enemies and you're just not really good with your Spore Bloom reloads yet, and you need to just spray and pray, then Corrupted Rune Pistol got your back, man. It's a really solid weapon all around, and I just enjoy it. Krell Axe. Now, very important, Transference Mutator. Man, this thing is a beast with single-shot weapons or weapons that love to reload. Now, with the Krell Axe, the overloaded procs do proc transference. So with the way we have it set up with our affliction trait, we will have transference up for basically 15 seconds. The initial throw of the axe is going to proc transference, and then every time the overload procs, it is an extra proc of transference. So 15 seconds more or less is what we get from this, and that is going to increase our reload speed by 50 freaking percent. It's massive, man. It is such a great combo, and it suits this build nicely. And then the star of the show, the freaking Spore Bloom. Let's freaking go. One of the top weapons in the game right now currently. It is hanging with the top dogs, hanging with plasma cutters, hanging with the monorails, the Genesis, the freaking Bulldog now, which has gotten above. Spore Bloom is right up there, and it's hanging in the top. It is S tier, and we have the Slayer Mutator on there for that extra reload speed. You get the damage buff on top of that. Beautiful, beautiful Mutator to use. If you guys aren't too great with your manual reloads, or you want to just use something different, you don't want to use Slayer, then I've noticed that Momentum is also works quite well with the Spore Bloom, so that is another mutator that you can use. But Slayer, that reload speed, man, freaking crazy how good Spore Bloom is. It's like a machine gun when you time your reloads just right. Armor. Now we are min-maxed to the best possible lightweight armor that we could possibly have, and it looks pretty damn good if you ask me. I actually really enjoy this look. It is the Battle Helmet, the High Noon Duds, the Academics Trousers, and the Zealots Wrap. And again, as mentioned earlier, we have a 45.7% damage reduction with our setup, which is kind of nice. That's like a comfortable spot that I like to play at because it allows me to survive around 2 hits from most enemies. So if you do not want to use this armor set, feel free to change it to whatever armor set you want. But just keep in mind, you do want to be in the lightweight category for the 0 hour necklace. And then for our relic, I just love passive regen, so I went with the Tranquil Heart. I do not like using relics often, so passive regen is the way to go for me. And we have it paired up with the Triage trait, which is going to help boost our passive regen even more. But feel free to use whatever relic you want to for this build. For the traits, we went with Longshot and our reserve as the respective archetype traits. We have Fortify for more tankiness, Triage to boost up our passive heals, Strong Back to put us in that light roll category with the armor that we have, Affliction, again guys, very important, that this is for transference and for fetid wounds to keep them out there longer, Gifted to keep our skills out there longer, Swiftness, now I wish I could max this out, but unfortunately I could not. I love movement speed on pretty much every build, but this build required a lot of other traits, so we don't have it maxed out. We're just missing a few extra points, but movement speed is great on every build. Vigor, obviously maxed out. Expertise to get our skills out there quicker. And then handling, guys, very important to get that nice sweet spot for spread reduction when you do use Hunter's Focus. Now, I typically only use the skills when I am in a boss fight. Or sometimes I'll swap out Hunter's Focus when mobbing and use Hunter's Mark, just so I can see where all the mobs are at during a boss rush. But I feel like the reticle with handling is more than enough for mobbing. You could usually just one-tap all the damn mobs anyway. That's how strong Spore Bloom is. So we really want that spread reduction when we're fighting bosses, so we can get nice and tight on those weak spots, get those huge freaking weak spot hits for close to around 11.5k, and that is with no pylon buffs. You're getting over 20k when you get max crit damage and stuff like that. It's absurd. So yeah, that is a sweet spot, because keep in mind, if you go above the 30% that handling gives you, then you will have the reticle completely disappear when you're on Hunter's Focus. So always remember that. And as for our Prism, we have crit damage, crit chance, and reload speed. Again, reload speed very important for this build. That is a big time DPS increase for the single shot weapons. And then for the Prism itself, we have the critical chance. We have the Meta Fusion for weak spot and critical damage, the Gunfighter Fusion for fire rate and reload speed, Sniper for range damage, and Ideal Range. Ideal Range is very important on shotguns because they do lack in the range, so this really helps it. And then this is an optional fusion. You guys can put whatever you want in this spot. I went with Athletic because I do enjoy movement speed, and evade speed is very important to have when using Hunter's Focus, because if I am using the haste buff from the Spore Bloom mod or Ambient Ember, to get my maximum evade speed paired with the evade speed fragment, then I can maintain Hunter's Focus no matter what dodge I do. Any roll that I do, as long as I keep ADS, I will maintain Hunter's Focus. So that is big. That is just enormous for me, and I like playing like that. And then the movement speed on top of that. Just a really nice, comfortable way to play for me. But again, if you guys want to replace that with another fusion, maybe you want Hulk for more tankiness, or Tank, or maybe some more damage, or some, whatever the case may be, then guys, feel free to do so. And as for the legendary, we went with Sharpshooter right here. This is for just a generalist range build. 60% flat damage for ranged damage. You can't beat that. And you're not always going to hit weak spots. I know Master Killer got a buff, but it's still pretty niche because not every enemy has a weak spot, and your aim is not going to be that great that you're going to be hitting weak spots all the time. So Sharpshooter is the way to go. But if you cannot get Sharpshooter, then yes, go with Master Killer. Get Critical Situation has also got a buff, and it's actually quite nice as well. Still falls behind Sharpshooter, or something like Jack of all trades will be good until you could roll the Sharpshooter legendary. But that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know what you guys think of SPOREBLOOM now. What do you guys think of the recent balance patch? What are your favorite weapons now? I'm so excited that SPOREBLOOM was back. It is one of my favorite weapons in the entire series, so it's up there, S tier again. I'd love to see it. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like, share it, consider subscribing if you have not done so already, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.